Hello, everyone. Um, I'm going to record this short video to show you guys the steps to do to use Gauss elimination method. Gauss elimination method, right? To solve the system on the left side. Okay, so probably you read the same steps on the textbook, but let's do it like together. So at first, we're going to write the augmented matrix. Okay, how the augmented matrix looks like? It's like a matrix like that has a separation right here. On the left side, we're going to put the coefficients that we see on the left side of the system: 1, the -5, the 3, and the 7, as we see them exactly in order. 1 here, -5 here, 3 here, 7 here. And on the right side, we put our second term, 17, -15. So basically, each row reads an equation. Each row reads is 1x minus 5y equals 17. 3x plus 7y equals -15. This is how we do the augmented matrix. Okay, now for the Gauss elimination, we always want this one to be 1, right? Because if we know we start from here, this is a start, and we want to end like this. We end when we got 1 here, we get 0 here, 0 here, 1 here on the left side, and then, of course, the right side will become 2 numbers that we don't know yet, right? This is the start, and this is the end. So we're going to show how to get from the start to the end through simple steps, simple Gauss steps. Okay, first, like I said, first this one needs to be 1. And in this case, it is 1. In some examples, it might not be 1, so we have to make it 1. Okay, this will save us 1 step. And then next, we need this 3 to become a 0. Every time we want something to become 0, we need the help of the other row. So we have 2 rows, row number 1 and row number 2. So we need the 3 in the row number 2 to become a 0. So we need the help of row number 1. All right. So we're going to change in our next step, we're going to change row number 2 only. We will not change row number 1. So in my next step, so I write row number 1 as is 1, -5, 17, right? Okay, now the row number 2, I need to change it so the 3 becomes a 0. So what you're going to do, we're going to multiply row number 1 by a very well chosen number, and we're going to add it to row number 2. I repeat, multiply row number 1 by a very well chosen number, and then add it to row number 2. And that chosen number is actually the opposite of 3. 3 right here, so we're going to multiply row number 1 by -3. So it's right, -3 row number 1 plus row number 2. You see, that will be our new row. So basically, I'm going to multiply everybody in row number 1 by -3. I'm going to add it to row number 2. And you guys can guess why -3, because it's the opposite of 3. So 3 plus negative 3 is 0, and that's what we want. Okay, so now we do the arithmetics now. So basically, I'm multiplying this row by negative 3. It's going to be, you see, I can write it to make it visual. I can write it like underneath everybody. So in small character, 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Negative 5 is negative 3 is 15, right? 17 times negative 3 is negative 21. I mean, negative 51. I'm sorry. I have to do good arithmetics, okay? And now we add them up. Now I have the small green line plus our row number 2. So negative 3 plus 3 is 0, right? 15 plus 17 is 22. And here, negative 51 plus negative 15 is negative 66. Okay, now we be careful with the arithmetics, because every time we do one mistake, it's going to make the calculations harder. When we do one mistake, it's going to make the calculation harder. So, all right. So now what is the next step? What is my next target? My next target is this one right here. On this corner, I need to become 1. Okay. If you want a number to become 1, you don't need the help of the other row. Let me repeat that again. If you want a number to become 1, you don't need the help of the other row. You can just go ahead and divide by 22. You see, if you divide the row number 2 by 22, the 22 will become a 1. And this is what you're going to do next. So basically, the row number 1 does not change. It's still 1, negative 5, 17. Now for the row number 2, I make it what I said, row number 2 divided by 22. Again, so my motivation is to make the 22 become 1. So I divide everybody by 22. 0 divided by 22 is 0, right? 22 divided by 22 is 1, right? And negative 66 divided by 22 is negative 3. All right, you see, I'm almost done. Almost. Now, my last step now, I need this one to become a 0. Now, every time we want somebody to become a 0, we need the help of the other row. I need negative 5 in the first row to become 0, so I need the help of the second row, right? So what you're going to do, the second row, I'm not changing it. I want to change the first row. So the second row, I just rewrite it, 0, 1, negative 3. Okay, now look now. We're going to do exactly what we did here, the other way around. So which means we're going to multiply the row number 2 by the good number, right? A very well chosen number, and we're going to add it to row number 1. Again, let me repeat. We're going to multiply row number 2 by a well chosen number, right? And we're going to add it to row number 1. And what is that very well chosen number? Is simply the opposite of negative 5, which is positive 5. So we're going to do 5 row number 2 plus row number 1, right? So, and then when you do that, everybody in the row number 2 is multiplied by 5. So what you're going to do? It's going to be 0 times 5 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. You see, I write it small because I don't want to write it like big. I don't want to write big right here because this is not like a permanent row. This is just a row that we use, to add to the other one. So I write it small. So 1 times 5 is 5. And then negative 3 times 5 is negative 15, right? So I add them up. 1 plus 0 is 1, right? Negative 5 plus 5 is a 0. And 17 plus negative 15 is positive 2. That's it. We're done. So now the first column is a column of x's. The second column is a column of y's. Now let's read the first row. The first row says 1x plus 0y equal 2, which means x equal 2. The second rule says what? 0x plus 1y equal negative 3, which means y equal negative 3. And this is the solution right here. So x is equal to 2 and y equal negative 3. And you can check that answer. It is a good answer. All right, this is just an example of how to use the Gauss elimination. Of course, you're going to see that on your upcoming test, right? So if you want to do good on that upcoming test, you absolutely need to know how to do these right here. Thank you.